We were talking earlier about the BIS, the Bank for International Settlements. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of that organization and how they got involved? As you said, they were the central bank of central banks. How they became that, and how they got involved as well.
The BIS was started after World War I. The original intent of the bank was to be involved with reparations payments from Germany. It evolved into kind of a clearinghouse, a cooperative of central banks with an interest in international trade and international relations. It even kept trade going between the Axis powers and certain other governments during World War II. The Bank of England, I guess in 1939, facilitated the Nazi government's expropriation of the Czech gold reserves that were held at the Bank of England, and they did it through the Bank for International Settlements and certain numbered accounts. There's been a lot of criticism over the years that during World War II, the BIS was facilitating the Nazi government's financial transactions, helping to keep the Germans in the war through international trade. That's history. I'm not going to blame the BIS for doing that now. I'll blame the BIS for being the handmaiden of market rigging in other respects today. But it is sitting there in Basel, Switzerland, on the German border, in a big, shiny, oddly shaped building that has a trading room. There's one or two very interesting interviews that have been done over the years with BIS officials in which they acknowledged a gold trading operation, but they're not going to answer my questions. I suspect if the Financial Times or Wall Street Journal or New York Times really stuck it to them and demanded some answers and threatened to report the refusal to answer, they might get a little more information out of the BIS. But look, we know from the documentation, we know from the statements that even some BIS officials have made, like William R. White, the former head of their economic and monetary department, have made, that the BIS is very much involved in central bank regulation of the gold price. In fact, White, who's a Canadian, who's the former head of their economic department, gave a speech at BIS headquarters in Basel, I think about 15 years ago, which is, again, a document on Gada's internet site, in which he identified what he called, I think, the 5 major purposes of international central bank cooperation as implemented by the BIS, and one of them was intervention in the gold market.
Right. Are you